This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. Joining me today is the president and CEO of Alianza Minerals, Mr. Jason Weber. Jason, how are you?
Doing very well, Gerardo, and you?
I'm doing well. I'm happy to have you back on. You and I spoke, I believe, a little bit over a week ago, and at the time we were anticipating assays, and frankly, we got them back, and I know that the headline was 455 grams per ton silver over 1 meter, which of course frankly, it's a fantastic intercept. But the one that stuck out to me, the fact that stuck out to me was that it was over a broader 10.66 meter section that averaged 125.6 grams per ton silver, which is pretty spectacular. I know you were excited about it. I had the opportunity to speak with Mark Brown recently. He was excited about it. I'd love to hear your take.
Yeah, we are, Gerardo. And I think when you just look back to our last discussion, we talked about the first two holes in the program, which were in brand new areas that had never been tested by drilling before. That was the Bighorn and Ross anomalies. Now we moved over into what we call the Mount Haldane vein system, which is where the old timers worked dating back to the 1920s. So we drilled a couple holes testing some high-grade mineralization that they had encountered in underground workings that date back to, well, the most recent work on those was in the 1960s.
Right.
And so we sort of had two ideas. One was there might be a flat plunge to the high-grade chute within this structure, or there might be a steeper plunge, and that's what these two holes tested. So for us, it was important. One is to get some good high-grade numbers to sort of follow these high-grade chutes, but also to see that these structures are big. For us, we're going to need big structures if we want to see bigger veins. And so the fact that we've got the bigger great veins, we've got high-grade silver, now it's vectoring to find where we might get bigger high-grade veins.
What's next to figure that part out? Obviously, it's going to be important to understand the orientation of those high-grade chutes, as you mentioned in the release. How are you going to do that? What's the next step?
Well, I think the first hole 16, which had the 10.66 meter section of 125.6 grams silver, that hole had some of the high-grade mineralization in it. So that one was testing the flatter plunge to the I shouldn't say ore chute, but to the high-grade chute. So, right. So I think we'll sort of we'll vector on that for now. There is some complexity to the geometry of these structures and veins. I think a lot of people think of veins as being these basically planar bodies that sit in the rock and you just follow them forever. These we actually are starting to think anastomos. You think of a river delta, and the river channel, it splays and winds and meanders through the delta. If you get a 10-meter structure, these veins might show a similar pattern within that structure. And so it makes it a little more difficult to try to correlate from one hole to the other. You can correlate the whole structure, but individual veins in between can be difficult. So that's where we have to, I think, put our thinking caps on and focus on some of that now.
Excellent. Elsewhere in the Alianza portfolio, what's going on?
So right now we're just finishing compiling the work from the summer programs in Nevada. We announced our horse thief results a couple of releases ago. I guess it was probably 10 days ago now. And that is led to a setup for drilling. We were hoping to get that in before Christmas. It won't happen. But as early as we can be out at horse thief next year, we'll be drilling. And the other two projects, BP and Bellevue, they being earlier stage projects were a little lower priority. We wanted to get horse thief together as quick as we could. So now we're looking at those, compiling the data and seeing what the next steps are on those two projects. And then we had our KRL project, the high-grade gold target in northern BC that we are just compiling right now. So we hope to have results out on that pretty quick. So now we're sort of into the phase where all the data we collected is being compiled for news releases, but then also compiled for what's the next step: drilling, geophysics, mapping, depending on what project we're speaking of.
Thorough update. Jason, thank you very much. And of course, as always, I'm looking forward to chatting again as soon as we get some more information.
Yeah, great to speak with you, Gerardo.
Have a good one. Appreciate it.
Thank you.